Andy Van Slyke and Scott Van Slyke. Very cool to have you guys both together. And Andy, we'll start with you. We were just joking about it earlier, but what is it like to have your son bring his dad to work day?
That's kind of what it feels like for me. I mean, my career has been long, over for a very long time, so I've kind of emotionally got back into the game through Scott. And after I got drafted, I went back to coaching, and so tonight's going to be a very tough emotional night for me because obviously I want the Mariners to win. I guess he can go 4 for 4 if he wants, as long as we win.
Fair enough. Now, Scott, obviously you grew up around the game, being that your dad was a major leaguer for 13 seasons in the bigs, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be able to follow in the occupational footsteps of your father.
Right.
At what point did you know you wanted to do what your dad did?
I think a long time ago. I like the lifestyle. I like being up late, getting up late, kind of doing what you want, having off days, not really feeling like you're at work. I had a couple odd jobs in high school that were miserable, and I didn't want to do that. So I'll go for a while.
What was he like growing up? Because he's very quiet, at least to us. What is he like behind closed doors when the cameras aren't rolling?
He's actually pretty intense and laid back at the same time. He's a chameleon in a lot of ways. The one thing that I always noticed, at least athletically, unfortunately, he had the ability to play at the level he was playing. If everybody played down, he went along with them. If everybody played up, he played along with them. And I think that's one of the reasons why I'm not surprised he's playing in the big leagues. For a long time, it took him to figure out how to hit. But he knew he had to hit like a big league hitter, and so he figured that out, and I'm not surprised he can compete at this level.
When you go to Little League games, you naturally see all of the parents watching their children. Everybody thinks their kid can be a big leaguer. Everyone thinks they're a coach, and certainly everybody thinks they're an umpire. At what point did you know that Scott legitimately had the skill set and the tools and the talent to actually be a big leaguer?
Gosh, I thought he had the tools to be a professional baseball player. Whether he was going to play at the big league level, probably, in my mind, was probably like 3 or 4 years into his minor league career, because he knows that this conversation was true, that for him to play in the big leagues, he had to be a slugger. He couldn't be a singles hitter, and he figured out how to hit the ball in the ballpark, and if he continues to do that, he'll play for a very long time.
You played for 13 years. Scott's entering his 4th year in the big leagues. What's the one piece of advice, Scott, that your dad gave you about this game?
Well, I remember him telling me when I decided to sign is never have a regret about doing that, and just once you make the decision to go into professional baseball, don't look back. And I think a lot of the guys that I played with, 3 or 4 years in, they're hitting 230, 240, and they start going, oh no, like what am I going to do with my life? Instead of, oh no, I need to hit better. And so their mind kind of goes off into different life. Thinking about other things other than baseball. So I think that really helped me when I was doing bad. It's just kind of like, this is what I'm doing. I need to figure it out. I think that was the big piece of information I got from him.
And you heard your dad say it. He would love it if you went 4 for 4 as long
Right.
as his team wins.
Yeah.
What's it like for you emotionally, or just, being the son of Andy Van Slyke and looking across the field and seeing your dad?
Yeah, I think it's different just because, he didn't have a dad that played professional baseball as long as I did. So this is just kind of my life, and emotionally, I don't think I'm gonna have any feelings tonight about, maybe I'm in the outfield looking in like, this is pretty cool. What we did in spring training.
Right.
We played in spring training. And, so I think it'd be different for me if in 15, 20 years my son's playing. It's just different when it's your kid. I think.
What's it like seeing your grandbabies when you get to come into town?
Oh gosh, you talk about being a chameleon. I turned into total mush when I'm around them. So it's you can't describe what it's like to be a father to your father, and you can't describe what it's like to be a grandfather to you there. So today's a pretty good day for me. I got to see my grandkids, and now I get to see my son play big league baseball. Not a bad day.
Do you feel like you're turning into your dad in any way? You always hear people say, "Oh man, I'm turning into my mom," or "I'm turning into my dad." You get any of that?
I don't know if I'd say all man.
Or
yeah. I don't know. I think in 5 years I could say this would very similar, and then 5 years from then. But I think when you're living now, you can't really compare a lot of things with him yet.
What do you
Still
think about
early on.
What do you think about the beard?
I trimmed it up for you.
I could care less. If he hits 300 with a beard, like grow down to his, down to his knees, as far as I'm concerned.
Do you still root for him like if he were a little kid?
Oh, it's the first thing I do every night after my game is go to my phone and check the box score. And when he doesn't play, I yell, Don Mattingly, you need to make a better decision.
Do you know Don pretty well?
I know Don a little bit.
Yeah.
I know Don a little bit. I really respect Don Mattingly and the way he manages maybe one of the hardest ball clubs in all of baseball. So he's done a heck of a job, and he's done a good job protecting Scott and getting him in the right situations.
You proud of him?
He's a great father. Yes, I am proud of him.
What about his baseball career?
That's secondary.
You get pretty emotional when you talk about him as a dad. How come?
Because I see what a great father he is. And there's two things I want him to have in his life: a better career and being a better father. If he does that, he's done pretty well.
Why is that? Do you feel that?
No, I'm not feeling any guilt because it's just that's what you hope. I think most parents hope their kids do better than what they've done in life.